I heard that you folks developed a new scout routine called Sink and Sleep. You know, that all has to do with the game. I guarantee, if you were over in Afghanistan, you would not be sinking and sleeping. You understand what I'm saying? That's a perfect example. That game has got to be so real that you're going to do anything it takes to complete that mission. And, falling asleep. Hell, I'm not going to tell you I haven't done it. Of course I've done it. I mean, I went one time 3.5 days without sleep and ended up, Rick and I, sleeping 12 hours. We didn't even know what day it was, what we were doing when we woke up. I mean, we were that screwed up. But it's a lesson. You're learning about your body. What are your capabilities? When do you start hallucinating? When do you start making poor choices? That's very important, because when you consider, when we get into a very intense escape type of a situation, you might be forced to be awake and to keep your family awake and moving until you can get to safety, some kind of area of reprieve, so you can sleep. But like I said, there's just so much involved in it, and especially learning about yourself. Incidentally, speaking of that, and I'm going to make an announcement generally to the tracker community, but as I see a Scout's mission and what we have to do, there's 2 online classes that are coming up to me that are very crucial, especially for a Scout, even over those people who have taken, gone the route of the philosophy classes. The first is the Gathering Storm of Affliction. This is the stuff that Grandfather warned that was going to be coming, that all our modern medicines and much of our ancient herbal medicines are going to fail. And there is going to be afflictions born of the environment we live in that are going to be absolutely both horrific and catastrophic in proportion. And I've designed the class of actually a lot earlier than I had planned to not only identify that affliction and spell them out, what Grandfather said, and early detection, and his approach to treatment, but also avoidance. The other one, which is a real quick class, it's 5 hours, I think, right, Dave?
Yes.
Is the levels of communication. I go through every form of communication, from the basic physical communication, subconscious, force communication, spirit, sacred silence, the temple communication, spell them out and expand on them. That, I believe, as you know from your raids, communication is absolutely essential. But it's not only communication with each other, it's communication with the very earth, the plants of the earth, the soils of the earth, and of course, spirit. As I see it, those 2 classes in my mind and heart were designed more for the Scout than for anybody else. Like one of the first things that happen in a disaster is when communication shuts down, people are at a loss. They don't know what's going on, and it drives them crazy. And when things get bad, and that power goes out, and all communication fails, if you decide, let's go out and see what occurred, you could be walking into a death trap. You've got to know on a deeper level what to avoid, how to avoid it, and get beyond it. And those two classes, I think now, when I look at it, are coming at the best possible time. Anyway, speaking of that and classes, next year when I put out the schedule, you're going to find that the Scout class is followed by the Scout Protector class. This is a class that focuses exclusively on Wolverine fighting and the martial application of the Scout. Harley and Ben have agreed to run that for me. In the past years when we held it, the results were phenomenal. But it's a week of intense training, much like you were doing here this morning, but more. So you'll understand when you see that Scout martial art, it's only open to Scout graduates. It's not open to the general tracking community. And it focuses on uplifting your level of combat, not just on a physical level, but all other levels also. I'll be there on and off to teach. Technically, it's their baby. Just like Jorge's cooking class is his, and I come in and help out every once in a while, that's theirs. I'll be there in the beginning and the end and periodically through the week to interject my 2 cents, as always.